I met Sri Krishnaji, and I still remember that day. He shared his vision, and then he gave a diksha, which when I first came, didn't even know what that was. And I'd received diksha many times, but there was something very distinct about this one. After we finished the diksha, I just remember going outside and I had an experience with a tree. And I'm not one to normally even connect with a tree, let alone have an experience with a tree. And I just had this feeling of when I took an in-breath, the tree was taking an out-breath. And then when I took an out-breath, the tree was taking an in-breath. So we were like in a breath cycle together for, I don't even know how long the time was. And just at that moment, I wasn't even there. So I was just feeling the breath. And the aspect of tapas that really rang for me was the whole part of us being able to liberate ourselves from suffering. And I didn't really know what that meant, but I wanted to explore. And it was really after recognizing in a diksha with Krishnaji that he really has no tolerance for any kind of suffering. So I was like so determined, I'm going to get to this place where there's no suffering. I didn't really understand busyness till I came to tapas. The first day of the first week, the second time, I stubbed my toe. So I'm like, okay, time to slow down. So I thought I was slowing down, but then I ended up stubbing my toe again. So then I started to notice how much I sped up on the inside. There's this experience that I remember of we took a walk and then going and being on one of the rivers. And I remember sitting on this stone, and then I started thinking about how there were stones all around, and those stones, probably who knows how long those stones had been there in the river. So with the river all moving, and then these stones were like so still. So I started really feeling myself as the stones were in the river. And I just remember sitting there and sort of becoming like a stone in the river. And then like for the first time I felt the sun on my face. And then it was like so beautiful to feel the sun on my face and the warmth of the sun. And I realized normally I would be like, you better get something on your face, a hat or something along that line. But I just was simply enjoying the sun on my face. And then, put my hand down in the water, and then feeling the water on my hand, and just having this whole experience of like, wow, when we're still and we're quiet inside, there's going to be a whole different experience of life. The state of sthita pragnatva, the state of unperturbed calm after tapas. So I'd really like to share how that has really shown up in life, in the living of my life, and this everything from the whole different pace of my life, where I don't think I'd ever taken an hour nap in the afternoon, ever, in my life. And allowing myself just to rest and to be, or really sitting with someone and being with them rather than thinking about what's my next meeting, where's the next place I need to go, or what is it that I need from this person that I'm going to need in the future, but just really sitting and enjoying being with someone, and being with someone with wherever they are, not being with someone for whatever I might need or for whatever I thought they might need, but really being with them. But the biggest, the two parts that I always love about everything that we do is, one is all the magic and synchronicities that happen, and then the other is how we're able to be with the challenges and problems that we have in life. And Krishnaji and Preetaji have really taught a whole new way for me and all of us to be in that. So I'll start with the being with the challenges. So went into this home, and 2,100 square feet, got all the new furniture, and I literally was sitting there on May 5th going, okay, this is where I'm going to live for the rest of my life. And May 9th, there was a water break and a foundation surge in my home. I wasn't even home. A friend and my dog were there. And ultimately, it was in such a condition that I couldn't live there anymore. I had to live in a hotel for a while. Then I was given an apartment and to live in, and then also move everything of mine into storage. During this time, there was never anything going on inside. There was no upset about the fact that this happened. I had situations with insurance company and the homeowners association and the home management company, all these things that typically I would have been so upset. I would have been like, things aren't going the way I want them to go, and they need to go different than how they're supposed to go. And what kept happening was the very person I needed would come into my field right at the right time, to a point even that the insurance company told me, we're going to get you a home from now until October 1, which was the very day that I was leaving for Mahatapas. I just really got, wow, this foundation surge wasn't about me. It was really about setting it up for me to be able to be here in India, in Sankalpa, and in service. And I'm living in not 2,100 square feet, but I'm living in 600 square feet. And I am completely happy. One of the insights was having us be able to see what were referred to as these swings, like these floods of, we could say, terror in our life. And so for me, one of them was clearly around being prosperous and or not poor or being insufficient. I saw, wow, how much of my life had been oriented around really creating and craving a large home, a home filled with people, a place of security, all that kind of thing. So that focus, so much of my focus on my home, and then to have that literally taken away by a flood. And to be able to rest in this peace about that was just truly a miracle to me, and that it didn't mean that now I was without nothing. Like, it was no longer that I had nothing, which was probably my biggest fear, was there would be nothing there. It was really that I am finding my home wherever I am. And it was huge for me. I have a reputation. People know who I am. I've been building that reputation for many, many, many years, and I've held on to that reputation. I realized how much I was both craved it and clung to that reputation. And I didn't even know how much that had me inside, busy, plus suffering at the fear of losing that. And again, this capacity in our state of citta pragnatva and unperturbed calm, being able to be with that fear that I didn't even know that I had of the loss of any kind of my reputation or any kind of my relationships. I realized again that in the field or in oneness, we're more connected than we are inside of that flood of terror. So we're closer, even though we're thousands of miles away. So this is my sharing for Sri Preetaji and Sri Krishnaji that I actually wrote yesterday. Most humbly and in deep gratitude, I wish to share the gift and opportunity it has been to be living in our Sangha, immersing and deepening the enlightened states of Mahatapas, and being in service, seva, every day. Each day anew, beyond peace and stillness within, is an immersion more and more in a distinct difference of normal living, and enlightened living. Time slows, moments expand, pauses lengthen, and heightened awareness of the edges of self fall away. Feeling the breeze on my face, becoming breezing happening. Listening to birds chirping becomes chirping happening. Smelling the plumeria flower becomes smelling happening. I'm meeting some of the biggest challenges around, not just the foundation surge of the home I was living in, but the other home which hasn't sold yet, now needing a whole new roof. Orchestrating solutions and teams thousands of miles away, there is no suffering, no blaming, no fears of loss, simply the arising of what is, not even a challenge or a problem, and in this state, a pure clarity and creativity in what needs to be addressed with whom. New experiences of communication have emerged, and after training people in communication for 17 years, whoever knew? There's a listening that is beyond listening from nothing, to a listening that is amazingly inclusive, and in ways that are miraculous and harmonious in experiencing the present and the unfolding of unforeseen futures. There's room for others' uncertainty, disagreement, fears, discomfort, and dislikes. And in oneness states and Maha-compassion states, there's a majesty in witnessing those all soften and fall away. And new conversations and new ways of being together emerge. I'm very clear that this is a huge gift, not just for me, but what becomes available to all of us in enlightened living. So often I sit and a moment comes of, who is this? Referring to myself. Who is this eating a berry off of a tree before starting a meeting with the youth? Who is this being youthfully one with the youth in spirit and purpose in our travels to E2 Live, and in our sadhanas, and an unfolding of our Christmas celebration that touched and connected everyone's heart so tender and deep, and brought us all together as one intergenerational, interdependent, and interconnected family. I feel if ever I imagined heaven, that this enlightened living is heaven on earth wherever we are. I'm drawn to being, living, and contributing this throughout the world. I pray for and ask to learn to design and teach enlightened living, people moving through the ekampata and being empowered, integrating these enlightened states of consciousness into our lives, our families, and our communities. With deepest gratitude, full joy, and complete servitude of our mission and our beloved Mukti Gurus and our worldwide community. Thank you and happy holidays. Your wisdom, your love, your true passion and purpose, the more blessed I'm clear that I am every day of my life. And I know there's many of us that feel this way. And I'm deeply grateful.